Yeah, thanks, Joe. And looking forward to getting that skeleton. That'll be fantastic because it's one of the big questions that people have is about human evolution. So that'll be great. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Great to be back. It's been a while. I'm halfway through my 2-month trip through central Eastern Australia, and I'm sitting in Longreach Baptist. Longreach is in central Queensland. It's sometimes called the outback capital of Australia, but probably more accurately, at least, outback capital of Queensland. And it's got the Stockman Hall of Fame and a bunch of things around. But I just thought I'd give a quick summary of where I've been and what I've been doing. So, crossed the Bass Strait on the ferry on 11th of June. Went to Melbourne, did a few talks there at a school to teachers and at a church there a couple of nights. Then across to Ballarat, Connect Baptist at Ballarat for an evening. Then across to Portland, there's Pastor Frank and Derek, who's my travelling companion, standing in front of some very interesting laid down sedimentary rocks on the coast there. Went to the Portland Petrified Forest, which is probably not a forest. It's more likely associated with tree roots and so on. We won't go into the detail of that, but it was a very interesting site to have a look at. Then across to Warrnambool, then up to country Victoria, Wedderburn, up near the Murray River. Beautiful little Church of Christ building there. It's been there the best part of 150 years or so. Then up to Deniliquin. I worked there many years ago in the 1980s on the River Red Gum Forest. Was up there. Very, very hard timber used by charcoal, railway sleepers, all that sort of stuff. So that was good to visit back there. Then our longest trip for that period up to Cobar in the middle part of New South Wales. Crossed to Nyngan that night and spoke at the Little Baptist Church there. Then across to Warren. It's my friend's property, a beautiful location where his house was situated and his property there. So it was lovely to stay there and go and speak at some schools in the area, including New South Wales' most remote primary school, a little school 100 kilometres north of Warren out in the sticks, no houses even nearby, nine children at it. So that was really interesting to do. Then up to Cunnamulla. So the rivers are the lifeblood of these outback towns, which are otherwise very subject to drought. And Cunnamulla was an interesting place, very struggling in its the Christian church. I was able to meet some of the Aboriginal elders of the town. You can pray for this chap. I think his name was Dave, and he's really searching for God, and he was at the talk, and it was really great to speak with him. And he had some great stories too of the local Aboriginal culture. And then up to Charleville, which was a fine church service, and you can see that there. That was a great time. Then across to Erromango, which is home to Australia's biggest sauropod dinosaur, 30 metres long. And we visited the museum way out in the middle of nowhere, but it's beautifully laid out, full of all the evolutionary storytelling. They've got some great bones on display, and there's some of the sauropod fossil bones that they've dug up in the local property that they've put the museum on. We also did some fossil preparation work as part of the tour that we did, and we're working there on a megafauna. So that's a diprotodon or a giant wombat fossil. And my daughter with me, she was really excited to uncover a decent piece of bone as part of that. So that was a lot of fun, and learn a few techniques that they use there. It was interesting to see this on display there, and that's just a couple of examples of many others that they had. But if you read those individual signs, you can see that they're actually saying that all these fossils, even though they're 50 to 90 95 million years old, according to their timeframes. They actually haven't changed. They're very similar to what we see in Australia today. So good evidence for creation rather than evolution, one would think. It's a pretty dry, remote area. There's my family. They joined me at Charleville, and that's out towards Eromanga at Quilpie. This really drying environment. So I've been able to do a few other bits and pieces while we've been travelling. In fact, right at that site, we found some petrified timber, and it's throughout this region, lots of fossils. Not that I've had a lot of time to fossil hunt, but there's lots of fossils in the area, and hopefully we'll be doing that at Winton. Some of these eucalypt trees. So I come from Tasmania, where we've got the tallest flowering plant in the world, which is a eucalypt. Out here, it struggles to, the eucalypts struggle to grow very tall at all. And you can see this mallee form of growth where they all shoot out of the root base. So that's a single tree, even though there's 5 or 6 stems in each one of them. And that's where we're at now. So that's the trip to date. I've done about 25, 26 speaking engagements when you count all the schools and various talks at different churches.